Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This morning's vlog is brought to you by a gut feeling. And that is what I'm going to call it, because I woke up this morning with a plan of a location. And don't get me wrong, in conditions like this, it's hard to get it wrong. It's hard to get the wrong composition, the wrong, it's so beautiful. The trees have all got the snow still on. It's absolutely incredible. We're in Scotland, West Coast. It's hard to get it wrong. But I was going to go to a location which I'm sure would have been amazing. Absolutely tremendous. But I had a feeling. I had a feeling not to go there. I had a feeling to come to the Pap of Glen. And that is the Pap of Glen just up here. And everything's looking like decisions were made and they were the right decisions to make. Where I'm walking now, that might not be. Because I don't want to walk on the fresh snow here and put tracks on there. But also I don't really want to be crossing rivers because I don't want wet feet, it's cold. It's very cold today. But we've had plenty of snow. It's looking beautiful. And I think it's going to be a good one today, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a good one. So we went with fate, and fingers crossed it's paid off. What a time to be alive. What a day to be out shooting. Now it's to compose it, because it's not going to be long until a light is on the subject. I can see it starting to hit surrounding mountains. But what do I want in the foreground? What do I want? I've got a beautiful reflection at the moment. I can feel a little bit of a breeze, so fingers crossed that's not going to ruin it. But what to have in the foreground? So I'm thinking, get nice and low down, not too low down that I'm cutting the reflection off, but using this line here into the scene. Maybe giving you a up and filling that scene. But it's time to get set up and have a look. It's a beautiful day. So I've got the shot all lined up and I am missing light that's happening all around me. And there is one reason why. It's because I've come to capture this shot and this shot only. I could be running around frantically trying to capture all the different compositions that are happening. And trust me, there are a few. But I've come for this shot here. And I'm really happy with my composition. I think it's interesting. I think there's a nice leading line and it's got a beautiful focal point. And hopefully as that sun gets high enough to hit the Pap of Glen, what's going to happen is it's also going to hit the clouds beside it, which is then going to give me lots of colour. But I'll show you what I've got. So this is what I'm looking at. I've got the Pap of Glen off here in the top 4/3. Down here, I've got the reflection, not quite in the bottom 4/3, but I've got this line of rock coming round, pointing to that reflection, leading up into the Pap of Glen. On this side, to help balance it out, as I've got loads of clouds. And I'm putting a lot of hope into the fact that as that sun gets high enough, it's going to hit them clouds and it's going to fill the valley full of light. I think it will. From past experience, that's the kind of thing that tends to happen when you've got this next to that. Because the Pap of Glen isn't the highest mountain in the world, all the ones around the outside right now are getting that morning light and I'm not. But that's where patience comes in. And this was my feeling. This is what I've come here to capture. So fingers crossed we get a shot. I'm going to get a pre-shot now, just so I've got it in the bag. So if all the conditions change, I've still got that shot. But what I'm hoping to get is that glow hitting the top of the peak, light in them clouds, and it's slowly starting to form now. I tell you what I'm going to do while I capture this is I'm going to leave you with a little bit of a time lapse watching this change, because it is beautiful. As soon as I said I'm going to make a time lapse, I'm going to get that safety shot, this happened. You may notice the Pap of Glen has disappeared. Doesn't exist anymore. The reality of being a landscape photographer. And the shot over that way, but I put all my eggs in one basket. It's starting to look like that's not going to happen. So I think it might work out and it might be a nice shot. It isn't the shot that I came for, but you know, sometimes just getting a nice shot is enough. But what we've come down to photograph, if I don't break too much of it, are these little interesting shapes formed by the tide. But fingers crossed, this funkiness pays off. So I'm going to focus on the mountain. I'm going to underexpose for the mountain, capture a nice dramatic clouds with a bit of light and everything else. That looks beautiful. So you've got the light in the background that's going to draw your eye in. One for the highlights, one for the shadows. Nice and simple. And there we are. And what I'm going on is how these discs look interesting. Two options really. Head over towards Kinlochleven where there is light, but not really epicness. Or head towards Ballachulish and hopefully find the other side of the clouds. And that's what we're going to do, because we don't know how big they are. We can see light in the clouds, there's light on the hills, so there must be thin patches where sunlight is coming through. Fingers crossed we can see the mountains. Off we go. Sometimes following that gut feeling was a good idea. I could have stayed up there and I could have waited for that path to come out, but there's a chance that it would never have. But because I've come down a little bit further, look at this scene in front of us. I'm gonna go wide. I could go in tight and then pick out little individual things, but I think this scene, I want to go wide. I'm going to use the trees on this side. I'm going to use the trees on this side to create like a frame for the scene itself. And then I'm just going to let the light do the rest. I've got like a little walkway. Down here is my immediate foreground, bringing your eye in, framed. It's just beautiful. I'm using a format that you don't often see from me, landscape. And for this scene, I feel like it's going to really bring it to life. But I kind of want to head a little bit over that way and see if I can get something not so wide, a little bit more intimate. Let's go see what we can find. Come on a little bit further. We made our way down to this little beach here. I've got some beautiful light coming through just over Glencoe. And what I want to try and find is something in the immediate foreground that complements that scene that's in front of us. Over here, we've got some epic mountains over by Ballachulish that look absolutely awesome. But what I'm looking for is I'm looking for something small, maybe something insignificant, something that you'd miss with the eye. Something maybe like this frozen seaweed. Maybe something like this. That looks quite cool, doesn't it? The way the seaweed's frozen in there, out, round, into there, and then into that valley, which you can't see at the moment because it's quite hot, the light coming through. But I think we found our scene. It's a bit of a shame that the wind has started blowing so strong, because it just means that we can't get the nice reflections. And them reflections before, oh, they were incredible. I'm going to do it in a 2-shot exposure, one for them highlights and then one for that immediate foreground to bring out that detail of that frozen seaweed. And I'm going to leave the camera set up there because the light is doing interesting things, and if I manage to get that light on them trees to the right, it's going to add more interest. So I'm just going to leave the camera there for a bit, see what happens, and then fingers crossed we get some, maybe even a god ray. That'd be nice. So if you have been enjoying these vlogs, make sure to give me a thumbs up, a like, maybe even a subscribe if you like. I don't tend to do technical stuff, but you know, I feel like what I do is maybe interesting to some people. Just go out and give my opinion on locations and talk about why I capture the way I do, and little ideas about finding interest in your foreground, such as the frozen kelp and using them 3 steps to lead yourself into quite a beautiful scene, really. Quite a beautiful scene indeed. So if you do enjoy them, make sure to give me a little thumbs up, show me a bit of appreciation, and I'll show you a little bit of appreciation. Not sure how, but you never know. Might give you a thumbs up too. Anyway, that is enough from me this week, and I will see you next week. Peace out, peeps. Bye.